All right, day two of the Closers Cafe. It's Friday, September 12th. September 12th. Friday, September 12th. Here's the plan for today. I'm going to start with a little story time. We're going to dig in and use Swipe for Leads to get our 5 fresh leads for the day. I am going to give an update on a couple of things that I was working on yesterday, sending out reverse prospecting email and text for a new listing that just went live yesterday morning. I'll share some scripts and templates, and then I'm just going to go and do the work that I do each and every day to create more conversations, and from those conversations, write more contracts and close more transactions. So please do me a huge favor. As you have questions, or if you have comments or something to add, etc., please use the comment, or you can drop a comment on whatever platform you're watching. We're live streaming on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, and even on Instagram, I think anyway, on Instagram. It should be working there as well. So a little story time to start the session today here. Over the weekend, I got a couple of leads that came from the website lead capture function that is included. I'm actually going to share my screen here. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. The website lead capture functionality with iList, and you can get the a free 30-day trial of my enterprise version of iList at growwithjosh.com/iList, or just reach out to me for it. And this is a new function where you can capture 15 to 25% of traffic, people that go to one of your web pages or websites and leave without becoming a lead, without filling out a form or anything like that. You can actually capture that data. Okay. So if that's something you're interested in, just let me know. Just reach out. We can schedule a time to chat, or I can get you the link for that. So anyway, over the weekend, I had a couple of leads that I was able to capture using that tool. It's just a script that you put on your website or websites. So 2 of them came through. One of them was the friend of the other. So the friend replies to the automated text that I have that goes out, depending on what website the people had visited. I've got a series of messages, a smart campaign that goes out. So one of them replied and said, "My friend is looking to sell." And I was checking out your site for a friend. That's kind of what she said. I said, "Okay, great." And before I could even ask, she shared the friend's phone number, which, interestingly enough, the friend had also visited the site. So I had already captured her. It's just that she hadn't replied yet. And this was early Monday morning. Anyway, I end up talking to the friend, Vicky. Her property is actively listed on the market, and the sheriff sale, she was in foreclosure. The sheriff sale is scheduled for today, Friday, September 12th. Okay. She's got real pain, right? She doesn't want to lose the house to foreclosure. And more than anything, she doesn't want to lose all of her equity. So I have a great conversation with Vicky. And before I even go to the listing agent, because I know it's actively listed, I'm not trying to take the listing side of it. But if I bring a buyer, I can be the solution. I can solve the problem. So I was riding around. I forget where I was. Oh, I was swapping cars. My brother and I, we swapped vehicles for my my son. Anyway, that's irrelevant. But that's why I wasn't at my laptop. I get back to my laptop early afternoon, and I find the buyer for the property. And what I mean by that is, it's a property that would be a great fix and flip opportunity. And I found the fix and flipper, or a fix and flipper, who literally had just done a fix and flip down the road from this property. I call him, and he's like, "Yep, I'm definitely interested. I'm actually 10 or 15 minutes away. Can I go look at the property?" So I confirm. He goes and looks at the property. He says, "This is my offer." So I go, and this is the point that I involved the listing agent. So now I go to the listing agent and I say, "Hey, look, your client so-and-so reached out to me and she reached out because she was looking for a cash buyer. I was able to find a cash buyer for her. Here's his price. So he goes and has a conversation with her, and it's not high enough for her. He's like, she really wants to be at this number. And I said, look, I totally get it, but this thing is going to be sold on Friday if she doesn't. So we have to play the patient game, right? So this is Tuesday that this has happened. And Wednesday morning, so I'm sorry, this is Monday that this was happening. So Monday I have all these conversations. And the listing agent tells me, well, she's got family who is going to help her keep it from being sold, like get it caught up so that it's not sold at sheriff sale. So I say, okay, great. If anything changes, let me know. No communication on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I say, hey, look, Paul, I don't know if they got it resolved, but my guy's still very interested. This is the number. Let's do it. Later that day, he said, yes, get it to me. Let's make it happen. We're now under contract. We got the sheriff sale, I think anyway, stayed from happening. And, I created a transaction out of thin air by just being a problem solver. Okay. By using some technology to capture a lead that I wouldn't have captured otherwise. And then being a problem solver, going and finding the buyer for the house. And I literally made one phone call. Now, that certainly doesn't always happen that way. But if that's something you would be interested in, me showing you how I found the cash buyer, the fix and flipper, let me know. You can drop a comment or shoot me a DM. And maybe I'll either share that on one of the next week's lives, or I'll even record a Loom or a video for that. Okay, so that was story time. Now, let's go into swipe4leads.com, swipe4leads.com right here. Grab your free trial, free 7-day trial with swipe4leads.com. And if you missed it, I did a demo of the platform on Wednesday's mastermind. You can find that on the YouTube channel or in the Facebook group, etc. Or if you can't find it, just shoot me a DM or drop a comment or even text me, whatever. I lost my train of thought there. We have a growing number of beta testers. This is like version 0. It's like beta version. And we're getting some great feedback from the users. In fact, we got some feedback this morning from one of the beta testers who pointed out a couple of things that we were immediately able to clean up and improve in the app. So we want people to check it out, try it, and then give us feedback so we can make it better. Okay. The idea is this: you go in, you create your account, you enter your criteria of the type of property owners that you want to connect with on a daily basis. And then every day we'll send you 5 fresh leads of properties that fit that criteria. So for me right now, I have selected a zip code nearby where I have active investor cash buyers looking. Like I know I already have the buyers for this. I've got 2+ bedrooms. I've got 100 to 500,000, and I'm choosing, in this case, the seller type. You can choose absentee, out of state, absentee, in state, tired landlord, pre-foreclosure. Oh, I still got to tell my buddy Sean that he has pre-foreclosure spelled wrong, whatever. Tax default, vacant, high equity. Okay, those are the selections. And then residential. I save my criteria, and now I go and I want my fresh 5. So each and every morning when I log in, I've got my fresh 5 leads that get today's leads. I just have to tap that button, and here we go. I've got leads today. So I'm going the absentee, out of state. I'm going to grab that one. I like that. I'm going to grab that one. I like that. 33 East South Street. That's interesting. I think I sold that one, actually. That's weird. Save that one. And what's interesting is 2 of these have the same owner. That's somebody I want to connect with. Okay, so I saved my leads. Now I go to my saved. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of things that make this app really freaking cool. Here's one of them. When I click on view lead, I have the property, the property value. Now that's an estimated property value based upon an AVM, right? Algorithmic data. I've got property owner date info, and then I've got, in this case, I have 5 different phone numbers and 2 different emails. And watch this, watch this. So I tap the email and it pre-populates an email to the property owner using one of my tried and true scripts. Are you open to receiving an offer for your property at street address? Voila, I can send, and away we go. So I'm going to send to that email. That seems like, so I have 2 email addresses. One is very clearly a real email address. The other one, it doesn't seem like it's real. So I'm going to skip that. I've got a bunch of phone numbers. Most of them are listed as DNC. One of them is not. So I'm going to tap to text the one that is not. And look at that. It auto-populates a text as well, which I can edit, and bing, sent. Okay. So that was the first lead. Whoops. I'm going to go to, I got too many tabs open in my, so I'm going to go to the second lead. Absentee out of state. I have the value of the property. I have the address. Looks like they are in Vegas, and I'm going to wait to reach out to them because in Vegas it's 6:43. So I'm going to hold off on reaching out to that one. I'll have to make a note to reach out later. Okay, this one looks like there's no equity in the property, and they own it in North Carolina. Well, it's worth a shot. So I've got what appears to be 3 good email addresses. So I'm going to try all 3 of those emails right here. Okay, so I'm going to do one. I'm going to tap again, and I'm working with Sean to fix the merge function. It's merging in the full name, and I just want to merge in the first name. So we'll get that figured out. That's the nice thing when I'm directly, that we're collaborating. I'm the guy using the thing, and he's the guy making it better. Okay, so that quickly and easily, I've sent 3 personal emails to the owner to see if they would be interested in selling the property. Let me see here. Let's go to the next one. View lead. So this one, he lives in Maryland, and I'm going to do text. For some reason, there weren't any usable emails, but I have what is an iPhone address that I can text. And how do I know it's an iPhone? Because it's a blue text. So that's kind of cool as well, that you can, that's one of the benefits of having it structured this way. Okay, and let's see here. Let me see. I think I have one more lead. Now, this was the same owner. So I really want to talk with this person because I have 2 absentee out-of-state owners. I'm sorry, 2 properties with the same owner. I might end up adding him to my buyers list. So I want to absolutely get myself in contact with that prospect. Okay, so that quickly and easily, I'm getting fresh leads that I can reach out to. Now, if I were not in Pennsylvania, which is a 2-party state, I would call them as well. But in Pennsylvania, I need permission from the person on the other end of the call. And I don't want to go through that, getting that permission to make those calls. But that fella in particular, I will call. His name is Nathaniel. He owns, he owns at least 2 properties in an area where I'm playing deal maker. I'm playing matchmaker in that area. Okay, so that's how quickly and easily you can be reaching out to potentially motivated sellers using swipe4leads.com. It's swipe the number 4leads.com. You can get a free 7-day trial. And then there are 2 different levels after that. You can get 5 fresh leads a day for $9.99, $9.99 per week, or you can get 10 fresh leads a day for $14.99 per week. You can cancel anytime, no contracts, no commitments, etc. You can pause it. If you're going on vacation, you can pause it. And we've got some really cool things built into it. We save your streaks, and we reward you for consistency and the habit of doing the work, which was one of the things that I really hammered on Wednesday's mastermind, is that it's not just that we're delivering fresh leads to you, it's that we're building it so that it incentivizes you and hopefully motivates you to create the habit of the consistent connecting and getting into more conversations with people in your market who are thinking about buying or selling real estate, because conversations is that's the number one key performance indicator. It's the number one metric that if you have more conversations, leads to more contracts and closing. Okay, so we're really emphasizing that. Yesterday, I talked about and even showed building a reverse prospecting list for a new listing that I had. Reverse prospecting meaning in my MLS, I'm in Bright MLS, finding all of the other real estate agents who have clients that this property fits the criteria of those clients. Okay. And for whatever reason, I think of it's because the list was so big, I was using ChatGPT to take it from me just copying raw data and then turning it into a CSV file so that I could then send out emails and text messages to that entire list. It was getting bogged down. It wasn't working. So then I used my next favorite AI tool. Well, I think it's my next favorite, Manus.im, MANUS.im. So I'll just share my screen here. Hold on. So I used this tool and prompting to get the CSV file. So all I did was say, can you create a CSV file from the following data that includes first name, last name, email, and phone number for each contact? And how I got the data that I pasted in, because you can see here, let me show you here. This is the pasted content. Okay, that's just raw data. How I got the data in my MLS, all I did was I went here, view listings, because these are my listings. I chose the listing. I chose reverse prospect. And then I just copied all of this. I copied all of this. Okay. So Manus spit out this CSV file at the end of this right here. Yeah, it was a CSV file. It shows an X, like it's Excel, but it was a CSV file. What I then did was I went to my cold outreach CRM or database, and I uploaded that data, and I scheduled to drip out an email and a text message to those agents starting this morning. And you can see it's starting to get responses. So it's also getting some people that they don't want texts from me, which is fine. So Tom says, not sure where it's at, but send it over. So I'm going to send that address. What's the address? I'll send that. Okay. Now, if you want the text and email script that I'm sending the agents for this, which is I literally use almost the exact same scripting every time I do this. So this is something I do with every one of my listings, is I send reverse prospecting emails and texts to alert other agents. I want to circle the troops, right? I want to you've got a client who might be interested. Let's do a deal. Let's make it happen. Okay. So I'll give it to you here, but if you want it in a Google Doc that you can literally just copy and paste and tweak it, just drop a comment below, and then shoot me a DM, or I'll reply to the comment, quite honestly. With that, I'll just put that together after our live session here. Actually, I'm going to do it right here and now. Why not? I mean, this is just This is like reality TV for real estate, or for real estate agents. So I'm going to call this doc Reverse Prospecting um, for your listings to other agents, scripts and templates. Okay. So, nope, I did not copy that. So let's go back over here. Where is it? It's right here. I'm going to copy that. I got to paste it in a text file. Otherwise it's going to get jacked up. Okay. So I've got that. That's the text message. No, that didn't work. Hold on. Let me fix the formatting on that. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Well, let me see here. Let me try one more time. Copy that. I don't want this. I want that. And the text color. There we go. Okay. Now we've got it. And let's make it so we can read it. Okay. Hey, it's Josh with eXp. Seems like you have a client looking for a property in the Ickesburg area. We just listed a cabin on over 4 acres with a pond. Let me know if your client is interested. LMK. Okay. Okay. That's the text script. Okay. Now, the email script, very similar. Here's the email that I sent this same person. The email subject line, I use exactly what is populated in the MLS. Okay. So all I do is, if I were to do this one by one through the MLS here, all I have to do is click on the person. And at least in Bright, it pre-populates this with this subject line. The reason why I'm doing that is familiar to most agents. Like, they know that. They've seen that before. So subject line is that. Body copy is the following. Back over here. And yeah. So my morning work is dedicated to more conversations. Sometimes that's more conversations with consumers, and sometimes it's more conversations with agents, right? But it's all around helping, either get more clients or get, getting me more conversations that lead to more contracts and clients, or getting more conversations that lead to more contracts. In this case, with agents, bringing interested parties to my listing, right? So I wanted to put a button on that. And so what I'll do with this is I'll add at the top of this document, for those who are interested, I'll add a Loom tutorial on how I get how I copy this and put it into a prompt and do the rest of that. Okay. Now, here's what I would also say is that if you don't have a way to send those communications one too many to those agents, you should still do it one at a time, because it's going to be work worth doing, and you're doing your best, for the client, to get them the greatest number of showings and therefore the greatest number of offers, et cetera. Okay. So I'm using technology to do that, but even if you had to go one by one and send those, it would be worth it. It is worth it. Okay. All right. Next on my list, I didn't even get to my daily activity of cleaning up my inbox of new leads. So one of the things, and I shared this yesterday, but every morning I get this daily portal notification summary from Bright. And every morning I go through and I look for, are there any clients looking at properties that I need to check in on that I haven't talked to recently? And I'm scrolling through here because none of those fit that criteria yet. I haven't been able to get her, Isabel. Curious, are you still interested in buying a, you know what? Let me match it to what her search criteria is. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to find the contact because I don't remember off the top of my head what her search criteria is. Okay, perfect. Now I can match that messaging. Where did I go? Right here. Buying a 3-bedroom home in the Carlisle area this fall. Boom. And I'll be honest, the majority of these emails I send like this do not get a reply. But we're paid very nicely for each transaction. So like I don't mind that fact. I don't mind the fact that more often than not, these aren't responded to. Ooh, I got to follow up with Charlene. I totally forgot about that. That was something from yesterday, which I shared. Charlene had texted through Bold Trail looking for or interested in a property. And we went ahead and started the process of getting her pre-approved. Oh, I need to also reach out to Michael. See, this work also reminds you who you need to follow up with and follow through on when you're doing this, right? We all get very busy. We all have a lot of balls that we're juggling at any one time. So doing this process, I recently emailed Linda Stump, and I'll bring this up just to illustrate that this stuff works. So I sent her an email on the 10th, Wednesday. We weren't live streaming that day. Just checking in to see where you're at with everything. And here's what I know about Linda. Linda had come through as a motivated seller. She had requested a cash offer late spring or early summer. We had a conversation. We've talked on the phone at least once, maybe twice. She is looking to sell her current home. Her husband passed away. She wants to sell her current home, and she wants to buy a new home with her new boyfriend. The husband passed away a few years ago at this point. And but so basically, without seeing it in person, I gave her an idea of what a cash offer might look like. And I also presented the fact that, like, given the amount of equity, given the amount of equity she was hoping to pull from the property to buy her next property, I said, we probably need to find a retail buyer for the property. So she has been working on getting the house ready for a retail buyer. So she replied, hi, Josh, I should be done with the house by next week. I'll let you know when you can come over to look at the house, and also want to talk to you about the houses you have for sale also. Thanks for your patience. It's been a crazy couple of years for me, and I'm ready to move on with my life. Talk to you soon. That is someone who has decided that I am going to be the person they work with. And, you know, I as long as I don't screw it up, that's a client. I've never met her in person. I've had one, maybe two phone conversations, but by continually staying in touch and sending messages like that, that's how we make it happen. Harold, we're getting some great comments, so thank you for those. David says, please send the document. I absolutely will, David. I'm going to add a few things to it, and then I will drop that to you. I'll reply to your comment with a link to the document. Harold said, do you ever make calls to the swipe leads? Okay, swipe leads. I don't know what you were, then you said sold. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, you maybe sold as in sold to her. So do you ever make calls to the swipe leads? Yes. I'm not going to do that on these live sessions, however, because in Pennsylvania, it's what's called a two-party state. In other words, if I would make those calls while live streaming, I have to get permission of the person on the other line, and I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. Okay, so here's what the script would sound like. Ring, ring. Hey, Harold, this is totally out of the blue, and admittedly, it is a cold call. I'm a realtor, and I'm calling about this property. Can you give me 30 seconds, or would you rather hang up? And most of them will laugh and say, oh, yeah, you got 30 seconds. Hey, I'm calling because I have a private client who would be interested in making an offer on your property at blank address. Is that something you'd be at all open to? At all open to? Okay. Something along those lines is really all I do. And like the more transparent, like you want to have a script, but you don't want to sound scripted. You want to have a script or a framework to follow, but you don't want to sound overly scripted. Okay. And, I found that to be super productive. I do also find that emailing and texting opens up a lot of great conversation opportunities for me. In fact, when I was showing the replies of some of the agents from my reverse prospecting texts and emails, I got someone who replied to an outbound text yesterday that he replied This was after the session. He replied. We had a little bit of an exchange. And then I have no idea what this latest reply is, but this will be a fun little thing to share for all of you. So Benjamin here, he owns a multifamily property. He said that little presentation thing irritated me. I turned it off. I can tell you that is the first time I have ever had somebody that didn't like the Loom presentation. You know what? I'm going to call him regardless. But here's what happened. Okay, so I have a client that I picked up through outbound sort of cold outreach. I'm listing a 4-acre parcel that is ready for a home to be built on. And then that's what he had reached out to me about. And in my conversation, it turns out that he also has a 2-unit that he wants to sell. And he was working with a lady, another agent, but he liked me so much, he told her, I'd like to sell it with Josh. And we're just not ready to go on the market yet. So I've been building up a buyer database for this 2-unit property in this specific area. And I have people that, in fact, I have one person that has made an offer on the fellas, the client that I'm going to be listing. But he just wants to see what the open market brings. Okay. But now I have active buyers. So I then am trying to find more inventory for those active buyers. So I built a list of multi-unit owners in that same area and did outreach. And Benjamin said that. Wow. Really sorry. You're literally the first person out of hundreds or maybe even thousands of people I've sent videos like that to that responded negatively. I would have, would you prefer to have a quick chat, or is it that you're not actually interested? He is a 3-unit, and he said, "Don't even." Here's how this started. Everything is for sale for enough money. Actually, here's how it started. This is the script I sent. Hey, Benjamin, would you consider selling your property at street address to a private client of mine? Thanks, Josh. Everything is for sale for enough money, but unless it starts with a 3, not even worth discussing. I know with certainty I have at least 2 that will make an offer of at least 300, probably 325 or 350, because I looked at the property for what he's got, right? Unless it's a complete dump and he's a slumlord, which it doesn't appear to be the case. And I said, would you be available for a quick chat, maybe later this morning or early afternoon? I'm seeing conflicting information on the number of units. He just said it's 3 units and a garage. Okay, cool. What's the unit mix and are they currently rented? He just said, yes, right on. Sent this to you from my personal cell earlier. He didn't actually watch it because I didn't get a notification that he watched it. So, but regardless, will something happen with this guy? I don't know, but I have no problem being persistent with someone like that. And in part because I know for sure I have at least 2 buyers who will make an offer on the property. Will he accept the offer? I don't know, but I know that I have them. So I absolutely will be. Harold says, I've used the text. I'm hesitant to send the email since it seemed pretty plain. Any thoughts, or am I hallucinating that I need more content? I have no idea what you're saying, Harold. The email seemed plain. If you send big, long emails, here's what I am 100% certain of. They won't read it. I don't even know what that is completely confusing to me. So this is the email version of that script. The subject line is for Benjamin, RE, or parentheses, RE, the address. Would you consider selling your property to a private client of mine, Benjamin? That's it. I don't know what. Yeah, I mean, that seems like a personal email that I would send. And I'll just say flat out, if you're sending lengthy emails to people, they're not getting read. And when I get lengthy emails from other real estate agents, either asking for help or questions, like I mean, it's just I want the Cliff's notes. I don't want some long convoluted email. Get to the point. Get to the point. I had a real estate agent call me yesterday morning. Okay, I like sharing stories. Who knows how long I'll go live here this morning? So I have a listing that I most likely will go live on the market late next week. I have to actually call the homeowner this morning and just to get an update because some things needed to be cleaned out. But the plan was to go live next week. And so in scenarios like that, one of the things that I've been doing, because this is a property that would work for an investor, and it could work like a landlord or buy and hold investor could literally just buy it, put in very, very little, and it's rent ready. It could also work for somebody that wanted to, fix and flip it, right? So anyway, in those scenarios, I'm using that as bait to find the buyers ahead of time. So I'm posting things in Facebook groups. If you'd like to see an example of what I'm posting, drop a comment. Just say yes, and while you're at it, please hit the like button wherever you're watching. But if you'd like to see that, I can share that. Anyway, I got an agent. It's another EXP agent, not in my org. She texted me Wednesday. Yeah, she texted me Wednesday. She introduced herself. I already have her saved in my phone. I know who you are. You're at EXP. I've talked to you before. I know who you are. Okay. So she introduced herself. That's fine. That's fine. She asked for information about the property that I posted. So I sent her a voice memo with information. She calls me the next morning, yesterday morning, after the live session. She calls me and spends the first minute or two talking about nonsense. Nonsense. Hey, this is Bola. I literally said, hey, Bola. I answered. Morning, Bola. She explains, this is Bola. I'm with EXP. I'm calling about. I'm like, I know all of this already. Just get to the point. She had a couple of questions about it. And then we had a conversation, right? People are busy. People are distracted. People are annoyed. Most people are put off by small talk and extra nonsense, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to build a connection, but there's too much fluff that people also try to do as though like it's like fake rapport building. Just get to the point. Get to the point. Especially a lot of my communications like that are going to non-owner occupied. They're either absentee owned investment properties or vacant land. Like, just get to the point, right? They're more business minded. They're more entrepreneurial minded. They don't want there's no emotional ties to it, etc. Anyway, I beat that dead horse. I mean, just senseless. Anyway, okay, a couple more things that I want to knock out while we're live here. Because the point of this for me is I just want to go live and share what I'm doing that is working to get me more conversations, contracts, and clients. Okay. And also just very transparently, I want to share the tools I'm using because I use them. And also I have arrangements with them, affiliate arrangements that, why would I not share the stuff that is working and that I use and that I like and be compensated for that? Because then I can use that to pour back into, providing as much free value as I humanly can, because that's really what that's kind of what I try to live by in this industry, because there are so many people trying to get into our wallets. Okay, this was a text message. I don't know how I missed this, but I saw this morning that I missed this messaging from Landon. This is a lead that came in. I think it came through Zillow. Okay. Hey, Landon, I'm very sorry. Somehow I missed this yesterday. Okay, just own it. Okay, no excuses. I missed it. I'm sorry. This property is is a bit of a weird situation. PennDOT is likely taking the property through, I'm not sure how you spell eminent domain. I don't know if I spelled that right. Imminent? Is it imminent or eminent? I don't know. Might be easier to have a quick chat if you're available. I'm limited to 220 characters there, so I'll send that, and then I'll say, if you're available later this morning. Okay, boom, send that. Oops. Okay, now I can send through. Okay, I need to get back to Charlene. Actually, you know what? So I'm not going to get back through to her through this. I'm going to go on my phone because, well, actually, I'm going to show this, which is a follow-up to yesterday. So on yesterday's live, I replied to a response. Let me see here. All activity. So Charlene, I've actually talked to her a couple of times. The timing just hasn't been right. She's been working on this, that, and the other thing. She messaged. This was yesterday at 3:55 a.m. I'm interested in the home at whatever. I'm not going to say the address there. I have 75K to put down. I said, good morning. I'll send you more info details on the property now. Actually, I think I sent this during the live stream yesterday. Would you like to schedule a time to check it out in person? Also, I can't remember where we're at with the pre-approval process for you yet. She said, okay. Sent you the disclosures, floor plan, etc. Did you want to try and check it out sometime today or tomorrow? She said, yes. And I need to get pre-approved. Got it. I can't remember. Had you previously spoken with Jared or Maria? When would you be available for a quick chat with one of them to knock that out? Getting pre-approved, that is, in parentheses. She said no, meaning she hadn't talked with them, I think is what she meant. No, meaning that you haven't spoken with either of them. Are you available at all today for a quick chat? In about an hour, yes, I'll be available. Okay, so that's where it left off. And when I get situations like that, what I then did was I took the conversation to my phone because I do a group text intro. Okay, so group text intro. Here's where this left off. Hey, Jared, I'm CCing Charlene here. She'd like to chat about getting pre-approved. She has a house that has caught her eye that she might want to make an offer on. She has a significant amount saved for down payment. She said she'd be available this afternoon. This is the address. And she said she'd be available in about an hour. So I put the link to the property. Hey, Charlene, Jared just got out of the dentist. So I called Jared because I saw that he hadn't responded yet. And it was odd. Anyway, and he said, I'll be available in about 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And then I know that they had a phone conversation and Jared sent the application, but I don't think she started an application yet. So I'm just going to send this here. Hey, Charlene. Any luck with the application? Any luck getting started with the application? We'll just see what she responds. Okay. What email? Oh, the swipe for leads email. Is that what you're saying, Harold? So Harold said the email says, "Are you open to receiving an offer on your property at?" There is no mention of a private party, but that this is working. Done. Okay, that's a good point. So, here's this is version 1.0 of swipe for leads. Okay, that's where we're at with this. We needed to get it to a minimum viable product so we could get users like Harold. Thank you, Harold, and get feedback so we can make it better. And we already have a plan for some of the updates and improvements we're going to make. Eventually, what we envision is you can choose in your profile. So in your profile, you'd be able to choose what text and email script are auto-populating. For now, we just went with the minimum viable. Why did I not include private client there? Because, how do I want to explain this? So if you don't actually have a private client, for it, it's kind of bait and switchy. Okay. This is general or vague enough such that if they say yes and you don't have a private client who would make an offer, meaning you don't have an institutional buyer because you're not using iList and you don't have access to those, or you don't have an active local buyer who would make an offer, if they're open to receiving offers, what's the best way to receive an offer? Well, it's to put it on the market. So I tried for version 1.0, I wanted it to be a script that anyone could use and be able to justify using it, right? Because I didn't want somebody to say, well, I don't want to use that script because I don't have a private client. That's why. If you want to do that, honestly, I mean, it still saves you a bunch of time. You could literally just type in the rest of that script that is different from what the swipe for leads script is auto-populating versus the one that I shared here in a minute. I hope that makes sense. Eventually, we'll have probably 5 to 10 text and email scripts in the app where you can select, and that also would be, you can then switch it, right? So you could try a script for a month or whatever with 100 leads, whatever, and then you can try something different. Because here's the thing. I know what works for me, and I know the principles that work in general, but each market is different and unique and whatever. And so like the different language patterns or ways of scripting it can change that. So if someone is using iList, use this email versus yes. So if you have iList and you have institutional buyers, which I just frame as a private client, then I would absolutely add that piece to it. Which is, hey, Benjamin, would you consider selling your property at street address to a private client of mine? And the email is the same. Would you consider selling your property to a private client of mine, Benjamin? Okay. Yeah, that's what I would do. All right. What else do I have on my list to finish up today? Did I finish my work? So Landon replied. I know that. So I'll go back here and let me see what Landon replied. Landon was the one that, if they're doing that, then we'll look into something else. Thank you. I prefer text because of hearing loss. Gotcha. Let me see here. I can't remember what else he said. But on land, and we like our own land. I asked about the special condition. Special condition. Is it possible to do a tour? My wife prefers. Okay. So we're looking for something that's only one floor and on and isn't on rented land. Looking only in Hummelstown area or open to other areas. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. And then I think, and I got to go back here. One of the things that I showed yesterday is my process with, every day I go and check what are the new contacts that I have in my Bold Trail database. And I haven't done that yet today. You can see that I have a number of new leads. I also have a bunch of, unfortunately, this is kind of unavoidable as you are doing the work and promoting, marketing, etc. I have all of these spam calls that show up as leads in Bold Trail. So that's why I include it in part of my daily process. Also, this is just a spam. Like, I don't know, this guy shows up. I don't know what I don't know what the scam or the spam is, but he shows up all the time and he says, to text him on WhatsApp. That is immediate red flag that it's a scam. If somebody wants you to text them on WhatsApp, scam. And they probably will tell you that their budget is like 1 to 2 million or 2 to 3 million, blah, blah, blah. And if it's the first time it happens to you, you get excited and think, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing ever. And then you realize Scam. Anyway, so new lead, I switched to prospect. That's my way of knowing that that's my designation of I have touched this lead. Like I have worked this lead to edit accordingly. So I switch it to prospect. Market report. I'm going to add it to a market report, add them to a market report for the area. And this is a lead that was captured with the website lead capture functionality with iList. So I would not have had this lead if I didn't have this installed on my site. And I further know that this lead, the page they visited is a cash offer website that I'm sending traffic to from a Google pay-per-click campaign. Why is that important? Because I know that this person, oh, I thought I was sharing my screen. I'll share my screen again in a minute here. Here's why that is important. I know what this person's intent was. They went to Google and they typed in something like cash offer for my house, sell my house fast, local cash buyers, something like that. Okay, so this is relevant. Okay, so let me share my screen again. I thought I was, but sometimes I get confused. So the next thing I'm going to do, knowing what I know, is I'm going to add them to a smart campaign that is my cash offered lead smart campaign, and that will fire off a series of texts and emails. It will also add them to a direct mail campaign in thanks.io specifically for people that had requested a cash offer. And it will also trigger tasks for me to remind me to try and call Gladys and to do a number of other things. So why is all of that relevant? Well, like A, that's a lead that I would not have had captured otherwise if I wasn't using that script. And B, I'm leaving no stone unturned to try and connect with that person. And the reason why I add them to a direct mail campaign is that is something physical and tangible they can touch and feel and hang on to and call or text or scan the QR code whenever their timing is right. So if that's something that you're interested in, like, and you want to connect the dots on all of that strategy and get help with what tools to use to make that happen, et cetera, it might just be easier for us to schedule a 20-minute Zoom strategy session, which you can do at growwithjosh.com/20, growwithjosh.com/20. And if you have any problems with that, or you're not sure how to spell any of that, it's /20 as in 20, the number 20. But if you have any problems with that, like literally shoot me a DM or comment below or text me directly on my cell phone, 717-571-0456, 717-571-0456. Okay. Next lead. This person is in Missouri, according to, so this was a website capture. They're in Missouri. There's no additional info in the validation run. Something's weird about this. I'm just going to send him my sort of generic catch-all email, which is, hey, it looks like you were on our site. Is that right? Because I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to make him a prospect. And we'll see. I mean, it's a real email that I have here. SawyerBryan77@gmail. I mean, I shouldn't have said that actually live, but whatever. Okay, Yash Gupta, prospect. Looks like this was an actual opt-in, and they opted in on listings to leads for this specific property. One of my listings, 497 Middletown Road. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add them to a market report, which is the city where that listing was or is, and I'm going to send the website email. Maureen Brommer, Wisconsin. Weird. Okay. And she's definitely in Wisconsin. Where did she come from? That is weird. Somehow she landed on my cash offer site. So even though this is in Wisconsin, and I'm nowhere near Wisconsin. I know what she landed on. So she had to have been searching for a solution, a cash offer solution. So I'm still going to fire off the campaign because here's what I can do. If she's interested, I'll find somebody in Wisconsin that I can refer her to. Why not? Eric Barber, Stewartstown. Let's see here. See here. He also landed on the cash offer. Why does this? I don't know why this is here. I'm going to delete that. So he's in Stewartstown. So we go prospect, market report, Stewartstown, monthly, and then I'm going to add to cash offer lead campaign. And next up, this person is also in PA. Also landed there. Okay. All right. So prospect. I don't know where Cochranville is. That's interesting. I'm not sure where in PA that is, but I'll figure it out if he's interested and ends up responding. Whoops. I set up my market reports for once a month for whatever that's worth. It's like, I don't know. It's like a fail safe. Like, if nothing else, they will see my name in their email once a month. Now, this guy's also going to get direct mail from me, and I'm going to try and call him, et cetera, et cetera. But, at a minimum, that'll keep me in touch. Now I'm into the portion of these that, for whatever reason, there's like a delay when you delete until it actually okay, now it's purged from the system. So there's one more that's marked as new lead. That's the other reason why I do that, because it makes it easy for me to go and see who are the leads that I haven't hit yet. Oh wow, this is interesting. Look, the validation, it found a MySpace profile. I don't know how it found that. That's something. So this person was looking at one of my listings. I can't really tell what listing. So here's what I'm going to do on this one. This is local. I know that neighborhood. I'm going to add her to a market report for the zip code. And, that's local. I'm going to look and see what's going on with this property. And I'm going to come in for a landing here and wrap this up in a couple of minutes because I got to start getting. I've got a bunch of calls I've got to make. Let's see here, 413 Pawnee. Okay, they've owned it for 7 years. Okay, there's no contact info. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. They're going to be on a market report, and it looks like a home, a landline, and I'm going to let that be. Looks like a Landon replied. Let me see if I can pull up. No, that's not Landon's reply. Let me refresh here. Okay. What do we got? Bear with me. Come on. Maybe that's causing it. There we go. Okay. Wow. Okay. You sent me a book. Mainly, or if the laundry area is on the same floor as the living quarters. Okay. So they just want the wife doesn't want to take the laundry down in the basement. We're open to areas within a 20-minute drive. We don't know the price range yet because we haven't reached out. But we've been managing $1,300 per month for the house and lot rent. Okay. So I'm going to follow up with him, and then we're going to probably wrap that up. Got it. Get you set up to be notified of properties that loosely fit that criteria. And then when you see any that you'd like more info on or to check out in person, Just let me know. Okay, so this is what I would do in that scenario. So once I have a better idea of what the criteria is, that's when I move them over to direct MLS setup. So I try to have everyone in my bold trail, every contact in my bold trail, I want them to be on at least a market report or a search alert, a property search alert, and in some cases, both. But when I've had a conversation like that, when someone has told me their criteria and I have a better idea of what that looks like, that's when I will then put them in my MLS, which then means when I do this process every morning, when I go through this daily portal notification summary, there's new and different people in there. Not every morning, but like you get the point, right? That's when that to me, that takes them from prospect to like an active lead potential client. Okay. So they said within 20-minute drive of Middletown, which means I'm going to use a 10-mile radius of Middletown, PA. And they want laundry on the first floor. That's going to be first floor laundry. That's interesting. So that was a very specific ask. I might have to add the search for that. Let me see if that's additional field here. Let me search for laundry. Laundry type. That's not. Do I have laundry over here? I don't know that, man. I don't know if you know after the fact or live here how you can choose that the laundry is on the first floor. It's wild that she's like that was the criteria. Not wild, but it's funny that that happened while I'm live streaming because like I don't ever remember someone specifically saying, like that was their main criteria. I mean, obviously there was other criteria in there, but that was like, um, so Charlene, I'm bouncing all over the place here, but Charlene replied, she's having problems with the app. She's dropping my grandkids off to school, etc. Got it. Thanks for the update. If easier, Jared can also take your application over the phone. Okay. I mean, this is all about conversations, right? The more conversations we have, the more opportunities. And that is one that I will probably refer to once we get her pre-approved. I'll probably refer her to Cosette on my team. I don't know how to do this laundry, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'll figure that out after this. But that's how I determine when I'm going to take somebody over there. Like if they've told me their criteria, we've gotten into enough specifics that it makes sense for me to move them from, they're in Bold Trail, my warm CRM. I'll move them over to there. Okay. Thank you. This was something new the last 2 days, but I am intending to do this every morning, every weekday morning from now until I don't know. I don't know when. We're calling it Closers Cafe. Here's what I would ask of you, please, and thank you. Number one, try out, I keep doing that, try out swipe4leads.com. Go to swipe4leads.com, okay? It looks like this right here. Go to swipe4leads.com, enter your email address, create an account. It'll be name, email, phone number, and your password, and try it for 7 days. Try it for 7 days and kick the tires, and please give us your feedback. We got some great feedback from Kathleen Militello this morning, and Sean already fixed some of the things that she was pointing out as little bugs and things that we didn't think of. And so that is one of my big asks. Number two, if you want the document that I had teased with the reverse prospecting text and email scripts and like how I get that and send that out as well. You can drop a comment below. You can shoot me a DM. You can text me directly. If you would like to schedule a strategy session with me so I can we can get together and I can connect the dots for you on how I'm doing some of these things. Like, for example, when I mentioned, capturing leads that visited certain pages and then creating a smart campaign that does this, 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 and this, including adding them to a direct mail campaign so that they're getting tangible, physical, mail pieces from me. If that's the kind of strategy you want some help with, you can schedule a time for us to chat, growwithjosh.com/20, the number 20, or just DM me or text me. My personal cell phone is 717-571-0456, 717-571-0456. Harold, thanks for the comments and the questions, etc. And David as well. I will be back at it bright and early Monday morning. I'll be excited to do that because I am finding when I start the Monday mornings on fire and really grabbing at that low-hanging fruit and having those conversations, when I start the week off well, good things happen. And the last thing I'll say with this is, like, this was an hour of me doing the work. And honestly, if I wasn't narrating and doing some of this other stuff, I would have done it probably in half the time. But I love sharing that, number one. And number two, here's what I know. If I just do the work, good things will happen, regardless of how many conversations actually come from the work that I do today. By doing this work, it gets me in motion, in action, and then good things happen. People start calling and texting, and just good stuff happens from it. So thanks again. Check out swipe4leads.com, swipe4leads.com. Let me know if there's anything at all I can do to help and support you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you back here live Monday morning, bright and early.